Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of my trading journal. Today is Sunday evening here in New Zealand, and currently is 7:32 p.m. And I have been actually busy working outside Auckland, and I wasn't able to do the video for Friday as in the market update. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to infuse the two, a little bit of market updates, and also do the analysis for next week. Just going on this week, what wins we had. I have promised that I'm going to start taking trades. So I have actually taken one trade. That was GBP USD. And what you see right here is exactly the trade. And I'm just going to break it down quickly, see why I entered and what it did. Now, it is important to highlight that I've only taken a demo, not a demo, what is it called? Like a fake trade. I took this on my $5 million account. I know it's a little bit silly, but it hasn't quite given me the perfect entry. I didn't have enough confluences to feel comfortable to do it, but my gut feeling was that it was gonna have another push to the upside, and that's exactly what it did. So without spending any more time, I'm just gonna get to it. It's gonna be a longer video because I really wanna see what's happened this week. Now I have been watching the markets really closely, and there's a couple of peers that potentially have developed the entry signal, but it is most of them that they just consolidated, so we haven't quite had an entry signal. But my job is to take the trades that are not clean, but I can see them going the way the way the market is showing us to go on the demo account, and the trades that are truly with me, as in I have the confluences, I'm gonna actually take real money. I don't know how I'm gonna keep it on YouTube as a record of let's say positive trades or trades that went well. Maybe I'm just going to mention the fact that we have placed this trade and it has done what we said to do, because I'm basically just trying to journal the fact that a 0.5 risk to reward, I should say 1 to 0.5 risk to reward, could potentially benefit when you have a small account. Just remember, while I have a small account, I'm trying to be as safe as possible so I can preserve as much of the cash as possible. Now, you can't avoid a loss, so my job is to try and minimize that loss. Now, trying to get a 1 to 2, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk to reward when you have such a small account means you are a lot more exposed. That's at least to my personal feeling and knowledge. So I'm trying to be as not exposed as possible. So I've been focusing on trades that 100% had a 0.5 push to the upside or to the downside in order to take the trade. All right, so let's just have a look at this, see what actually happened, and see why I entered. Now, like I just mentioned earlier, this was GBP USD, and the week before was kind of consolidating at the area of interest, was doing a lot of small moves up and down. And we knew from the week before last that we were already bullish. So you can see this big push to the upside. Now, the thing that I really liked was the fact that this had started obviously in, when is this? In June, the end of June, was it? Now this closed, so basically this is the month of June, had a big push to the upside. This is weeks here, sorry guys. So 26th June, doesn't actually matter, but we had an engulfing, full engulfing here. That was pretty decent size if you ask me, engulfing at a weekly level. And then we had another 2 weeks after that that had a big bullish push, and then we had the retest of this rather respected area of interest with more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. So that was pretty good area of interest, and every time we actually come down to it, we seem to reject, especially for these last couple of times, 1, 2, 3. So after we have retested this area and we had the push to the upside, I was just waiting for this area of interest, which is also respected, to see a rejection from it. So we're going down to daily, and we can see that daily has broken above this area of interest, and it has come down to retest, then to have a push to the upside. So when I looked at this trade, this of course didn't happen, and I dropped down to the 4 hourly just before this big push. I mean, this is daily here. That was basically just Friday, and this trade has concluded Friday night, which is great. And the way I looked at it was 4 hourly. Let's say, just look a little bit back here, just for the ease of understanding for you guys. You may be a beginner, but I'm just explaining how I looked at it. So daily was bullish, weekly was bullish. Both of them had the same push to the upside, as in the candles that were forming were blue. Then I came down to the 4 hourly. 4 hourly at the time was actually red. So it was coming back down. It was having a pullback, and that's exactly what I wanted to see, a pullback into this area of interest at this EMA to get a rejection and then have a push to the upside. So my signal was, as soon as this market has changed bearish here, it pushed further, another bearish touch. So it went right under here within the area of interest and rejecting the EMA, which was absolutely awesome. That was the previous lower high that was broken with this full engulfing. So the way I looked at it, now I normally go down to a lower time frame in 30 minutes and actually try and find the entry signal then. And I would have absolutely have it here, which would have been a much more clean kind of push, but I didn't. I hesitated. Now, if I was to see this, that would have been the moment to take the trade with real money. But unfortunately, I looked at it a little bit late, so I'm guilty for that. Hope you guys can hear me. So instead what I did, I just waited for the 4 hourly to do its thing. So the 4 hourly closed absolutely bullish. Let me just make this back in scale. So it closed bullish and I decided to enter, and I had put a take profit at 0.5. So that was my stop loss there. Now the stop loss was directly proportional with this area of interest, and I normally do that. Now I know, looking at Alex's and all his learnings, he's saying basically put it at an area where, if the market is to change, to change the trend of this 4 hourly, if it was to just carry on bearish, at least I would have been wrong, and that would have actually been more than enough to prove to me that I was wrong. So I just lifted it up there. I would have had, this market would have had to come down all the way to current daily to break that through in order to become bearish and have a not valid trade. But yeah, that was my entry signal. I entered straight away. I did not wait for this red pullback. Now, because I've made peace with the fact that it is what it is, I literally did nothing. I just waited for it. So Thursday evening, I put this trade, and then throughout Friday, it had this pullback and rejection, another rejection, basically another touchdown to the CMA and the area of interest, and then it had to push to the upside. Now, I had to take profit at 0.5, which meant even though this could have potentially had a one-to-one, I didn't take it. So I basically lost on double what I made. Now with that account, I know it doesn't really matter. It's absolutely pointless. I have posted this as a video on Instagram, so I'm trying to keep track of that. So that last trade, I entered to market with the stop loss and a take profit, and I entered with 500 units. I sold buy 500. This is the $5 million account. So it's a bit, like I said, it's a bit silly, but what matters is that this trade has gone the way that I was able to, let's say, get all of the confluences together to show me that this was going to go up, which is what I really liked. Now that's kind of where this one is at. If I was able to enter at the 30-minute, this trade would have been a much different trade. I would have been able to make a lot more. Where was I? 4 hourly. I would have been able to make a lot more, even at least one-to-one, but this could have gone obviously a bit higher. But the thing that really matters in is what I'm understanding about trading is discipline. Now, if you have a plan, you need to stick to that plan, because yes, one trade may give me 1 to 7 risk to reward, and maybe that trade was to be the $100,000 trade and I lost on $700,000. But equally, if I was at $700,000 for, let's say, make, I don't know, a million or whatever, and that trade is the trade that went opposite and it didn't even give me 1.5, you see, Oh, I mean 1 to 0.5, then I would have lost that whole lot. So just because once, twice, three times in a whole week, sorry, in a whole month, we may see a bigger push. For me as a beginner trader, I don't think is the right approach to be able to scale the small account in a safer way, like aggressive, but in a safer way. And what I mean by aggressive, remember, I'm going to play the whole account to make half of the account. So I play $100 to make 50. I play $300 to make 150. I play 1,000 to make 500. I play 10,000 to make 5,000. So when you think about it, I mean, looking at this trade right here, even if I was to enter at that point there at the 30-minute, I would have been a lot sooner in that profit. What are we? 0.46, 0.5. You see, I would have been able to take that really, really early on. But you know, it's just not what I'm planning to do. And look, this could turn out being the worst decision of my life or the best decision of my life. I don't know, but time will tell. And I'm just here to try and explain it to myself in a way that it makes sense. I shouldn't really say explain it to myself because it sounds like I'm teaching myself as a different person, but just trying to understand it in a simpler way. I need to be as calm as possible. I know this is fake money, so it didn't really bother me when I saw it pull back. If I was to enter, for example, at the 30-minute, which is what I normally do, it would have had almost, I mean, like, let me actually see. Let me see. I want to see this again. So 30 minutes, because you're not going to believe this. 30 minutes, look at that. A 30-minute, that would have closed right about there. Okay, so now, honestly speaking, I would have probably made that money before it even actually broken, before it even went back down to have a pullback. And I would have probably been like celebrating because I would have been like, woohoo, look at that, you know, it just went all the way back down. But you know, what I'm trying to say is, let's say worst case scenario, this pullback was to be another full engulfing just like this on here and have a much deeper pullback and wake me out. Oops. And just wake me out. Then I would have lost my whole account. But playing this small number, it just, every time I do even a fake try, a demo try, or whatever it is, it just seems to be the magic number, like that 0.5. And I think it's really powerful when you're scaling an account. Once you reached a substantial amount in that account, it would be ridiculous and it would be stupid of me to keep playing with that kind of risk. Ultimately, what you can do and what I can do is have multiple bullets, as in multiple accounts that I'm doing this. So then let's say you have 10 accounts that you're doing this. In those 10 accounts, maybe one you're going to blow it at 30 grand. You still have 9 to go, right? And then the one you blow, you just start from scratch. And eventually from 10 accounts, you know, 5 of them is going to make it to $1 million. Then you sit. But yeah, I'm only doing this to grow the account. So let's see if this is going to be a beautiful journal or not. But yeah, this concludes the trade that I've taken. I've taken it on a demo account. I was pretty happy and pretty content with the decisions that I made to take it. The only thing that I would do different is actually check the lower time frame, because if the lower time frame has changed from bearish to bullish, and we had the beautiful signal with a 30 minutes with we had a doji. I mean, this, it may not look the prettiest to me. I would have rather have the wick down the bottom, but that would have been a clear indication that we have changed this downtrend. You can't see my finger, sorry. We have changed this downtrend to bullish, and we can see it had this beautiful push to the upside. So yeah, quite amazing. What can I say? Am I missing anything here? I'm not missing anything here. A bigger leg, nah. So yeah, that's definitely bearish. This was the peak. It had a push to the downside. It touched again, came down deep, and then it changed the character. Now it changed the character a couple other times. Like this was here bearish. Oh, that was still bearish, but it went bullish here again, and then went down again. But just remember, it needs to be a substantial change, but it needs to be in the right place as well. You cannot, like, just because it changed here, for example, or no, let's say here, see this change here to bearish and then bullish all the way here, didn't mean that was my trade. But in all honesty, that could have potentially also be a trade, you know. After this full engulfing here, even if I would have taken the trade there, that would have given me, not quite, but you see what I mean. It's just, I would have probably have a different stop loss than that. But anyway, we're not going to go there. We knew the area of interest is where we want to be for this market to change character. So it did, and that would have been the trade. All right, well, anyway, so I hope that this is a good lesson for me going forward. Gonna go to 4 hourly, and yeah, right now this trade for me has concluded. It's too far from the area of interest to actually look at it for this week, but from a trading point of view, I do believe this is gonna go much higher, and I'll just mark it with you while I'm here now, and we can then just look at it and say, well, look at that, you could have actually taken that trade. I think it's gonna reach this point right here. So I think this trade has got that much potential. So I just want to put a note here. I'm gonna add, and I'm gonna say expected top of this trade. Yeah, there you go. So I am expecting this trade to reach that point there. But yeah, this trade is done and dusty for us. And we're going to remove it from here. And we're just going to leave it in running pairs, and we're just going to have a look at it next week. But yeah, that's that. So now we're just going to have a quick look. That's the only trade I actually taken. I'm just going to have a very quick look at the other trades just to see what they did roughly. And then we're going to kind of pick the ones for this week. I know there's quite a few there, quite a few that had entry signals and quite a few that didn't. Now, the ones that had an entry signal, again, happened at a lower time frame. And I know based on the previous weeks, our learnings were about the entry signal and how we were meant to enter at the low time frame. But of course, we got distracted with work and other things, and that was it. So with that being said, let's have a quick look. So Euro USD. We were expecting Euro USD to have a push to the upside, and that's exactly what it did. You can see my little trade there. So right now, just as a note, weekly is bullish, weekly is pushing to the upside. Weekly has changed the character from a bearish to a bullish, and daily has confirmed that as well, as daily has become the new like bullish. Daily. Yeah, so daily has also become bullish. Now we can see daily has had this quite amazing consolidation. Now we can see it had multiple rejections of the area of interest, so it consolidated as well, but none of the touches have been deep enough. Either that or my area of interest was placed wrong. So in order to confirm that or deny, I really need to get rid of the candles and just confirm it and just see what is that. So right now we have got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now it's obviously going really far back. This is November 2025, so I would try and be a little bit more recent with it and see what we can get. So this is March 2026. This is okay. I'm happy with this one to be included, but it is pretty clear now to me that the area of interest should have been adjusted last week. Am I not tracking my face? Not that it matters. It should have been shifted last week to actually match these 2 points, the higher points, and that would have indicated that we have a valid and well-respected area of interest. Now there is one other thing about that, because if I shift this area of interest here now, it doesn't look like we've broken above this area of interest and come back down to retest it. So this would make me think that, oh, okay, so now we are there, which means that we're going to expect another touchdown. But the reality is that touchdown happened multiple times because we were much lower with this area of interest. You see, we were here. So the reality is we really broken above once here, twice, three times. So we had like a almost like a three touch points, and now we're having a push. But this is part of my learning, I guess. I don't know how to put this. I wish I was able to just call Alex and say, hey Alex, when you have this situation, what do you normally do? But of course we don't have Alex to check. So there's two options. We just go and have a look in the past and see what the market has done, or just wait and see. I am pretty convinced that because this has already had break above and retest, break above and retest, break above and retest, kept on retesting, I'm pretty sure if I put this area of interest right here, I'm going to have another break and retest of this area before it's going to have a push to the upside. Now it is pretty obvious that this market likes to do all of these little retests, retest over retest, retest, retest. So it is Euro USD, so it's one of the most traded pairs on the planet. So it's it kind of has a lot of movement up and down, and it is just it's the right thing to do, is just to wait for the confirmation. Now we are at a place this has already gone way above the weekly and daily, so a deeper pullback would actually be nice, and it would make sense. It is possible to see a pullback all the way into this EMA even. Let me see how big this is. This is 40. Yeah, this is a decent area of interest. It can be as big as 60, but it also, the ideal size of it is 27 pips. That's according to my lovely friend Alex. He's not my actual friend, but I call him my friend because he's helping me so much with all of these trades. Yeah. And I'm just thinking now whether I should just look at this trade for next week or not. Let me put this off. So right now, at a daily level, we basically just breaking above this area of interest, which we know is respected. We also know that we had this ginormous consolidation. And if you go in the past and you're looking at this area of interest, kind of consolidation, a little bit bigger than, obviously a bit wider with the higher high and a higher low than we are currently here. But the one we're looking at now, it's a lot more compressed. The best thing about it is that we are above the EMA, so that's, from a trading point of view, it's a much better confluence for me. Rejecting the EMA, it's good. Now we have both weekly and daily already having the same direction. Then we're going down to the 4 hourly. 4 hourly is also the same direction, and possibly coming back down. Actually, this is red right now, so it is possible that we're going to see another touchdown. It is very possible. Like if you're looking at this 4 hourly right now, that's the biggest push, and we haven't even broken above that, which means we haven't created a new higher high at a 4 hourly, but it doesn't mean we haven't got the entry signal. If we drop to the 30-minute time frame and we have a look for entry signals, we had an entry signal after so that came down, down, down. Okay, so we've broken above. This was this tiny little one. This was the last bearish push on the 30-minute. We had this beautiful rejection candle, but the thing that I don't like is it hasn't actually given us a full engulfing signal. So I would have not liked the entry at that point there. But it is what it is. Now, the only available entry signal at the area of interest would have actually been this big push to the upside, and you could have probably been there, but you entered there, and then you have this pullback for quite a few half hours. So let's see at the 4 hourly where that was. So at a 4 hourly, that would have pulled back all the way into the EMA, and then have the push to the upside, and you would have made the trade, which I knew that this would be also a valid trade, but I just didn't look at it closely enough. I didn't look at it on the day to actually enter. I personally like the fact that the 4 hourly at least had this rejection. I wouldn't call them dojis because they're not dojis, but they're still very, very small. and they at the EMA, at the area of interest, and the 30-minute has changed the character, and we had this big push, and then we did see that 30-minute has gone back down, but it hasn't broken. It hasn't become bearish again. It just stayed bullish, and then we had this big push to the upside, which would have been great. From that's kind of enough of what happened last week. I think I'm getting too much into those little details. I don't think it's going to change anything. We were basically seeking a buy. Let me see what's happening here. What is my notes? My notes is here. So we are at the 4-hourly. Monthly is bearish. Ooh, monthly is bearish. That's not good. Let's see it. Okay. Okay. So monthly is bearish. I remember this one. I remember this one. So this was the one that had the head and shoulders. So we have left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and a retest of the neckline. So at a monthly level, we clearly formed a head and shoulders, which is indicating the fact that this market is going to go back down. And based on what I can see this one being, I know it's going to go down. But my hopes are that we're going to see a bigger push to the upside first because of daily and weekly. Shit. If not, I am kind of screwed because I'm holding this trade for a very long time now. I'm holding this trade. I've been in this trade. If you looked at my screen, trade this trade right here. Working? Oh no, is it? I hope you can see it. Oh, come on, it's going away. Stupid face tracker thingy. Okay, so right now you can see this trade. So this trade, I've taken this trade. I've entered this. Let me hit it. You can see here. Can you? I don't know. Anyway, so I've taken this trade on the 16th of the 6th, and right now it's the 16th of the 8th. So 2 freaking months. So is it a month? 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah, so it is 2 months. That's insane. That's insane. And the worst this has been was almost 1.3 million minus, and right now is at 188,000. So this is the best it has been in a while, and this trade right here marks that exact trade. So I'm kind of wishfully hoping that this is going to reach this area of interest in order to have like not just reach it, but this week like get a little bit higher and create a wick above this area of interest, something like these wicks here. Just bring them all the way up here, and then I can exit at least at a break-even point. There's something about that account. Every trade on that account has been a good trade. Now the thing about this account, I have actually taken those trades to market. I had no stop loss. I had no take profit. It is a $5 million demo account, and I just wanted to prove a point to myself. And the fact that I haven't closed this, it just wants to, I want to see for myself whether one bad trade can screw all of the other trades. I'll just show you this again. So this is all of the trades on this account. I've been trading this account for quite a while, and I took from 5 million, I went as high as 6.1 million, and it was just over 2 months. And unfortunately, I placed that wrong sell. It should have been a buy. No, it was the wrong buy. It should have been a sell. And yeah, we are down a substantial amount, but this week we managed to recover a little bit. So we made $147,000 from the trade that we just broken before this one. But yeah, for now, I am hoping that we're going to see weekly have a bigger push. Right now, we can see last week has closed with another push to the upside, but we can see the size of it is really, really small. So we understand that there's a lot of resistance. We also, I think we are about to hit a psychological number. So right now is at 1.15704. 704. Yeah, I think that's the magic number. Or possibly go to 60. So possibly go to 60. Yeah, 600, sorry. Yeah, even if it goes to the 600, 116,000, sorry, 116,000 as a psychological number, that will get me really, really close to break even. And I would just love to exit. I would love to exit at a, just a much lower loss than not, but it's just to prove a point. Sparkling water. The best thing about this trade is that next week, I shouldn't say next week, but monthly being head and shoulders a neck with a neck test retest. It hasn't happened on this trade since forever. If I take you back to monthly, this is the only head and shoulder we can see at this on this since forever. It has not formed another head and shoulders anywhere, but right now it has formed a head and shoulders and a retest of that neckline. So it would be really, really, really interesting to see what happened. I would probably argue that there's a head and shoulder here at a monthly level, but it's such an ugly head and shoulders. I don't know. With a retest of the neckline, break below and retest, and then have a push. It's a bit ugly, but this, guys, this is a beautiful head and shoulder. Like, wow, this head and shoulder is really confusing me. I wish I could ask Alex and say, hey man, can you tell me what the heck is going on here? Is this a head and shoulders or what? I mean, I see there's another peak here, but if we disregard that peak and look at it from the left to the right, because now that was a push to the upside and came down to retest, and then we formed the left shoulder, head, and right shoulder with the retest of the neckline. Maybe it truly does have that. And we can see this one here too. It had like a left head and right shoulder, but it didn't really have a retest of that neckline. If you're looking at the candles, it just went straight down. So I don't know, but yeah, let's just quickly have a look at this at a 4 hourly, see what it looks like. Yeah, so this is our 4 hourly, and it looks pretty much just like the other one. It did exactly the same thing. That would have been the entry signal, and I would have been able to enter. Yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna keep an eye on this one. Hopefully this is gonna take us to here, really, and then we can exit in profit. But worst case, just take us to here. So I'm gonna move this on from here because it's not a trade we're going to be taking. It's gonna be just on the run in. Now from now on, these trades, again, they have shifted quite a bit. Some of them are forming the entry signal, some of them are already past that. So this particular one here, this weekly was bearish, and we were waiting for a reversal, like a finish, like the end of the pullback, to have another push to the downside, but clearly it didn't want to do that. It just kept on going up. And what that makes me think, you can see this had this ginormous push, bullish push, like it's been literally going like a nutcase for ages. Had these pullbacks, and then it's gone up, it's consolidating, and then we have these freaking, let me put these things off. We have this beautiful doji and full engulfing, which is like, hello. So from a bullish push to the upside, we had this kind of indication of a pullback. If you look at this here, we had the same thing, big engulfing, kind of pushed to the downside, but it didn't even, because it's a bullish market, I can't expect it to be to have a big bearish push, right? Because being bullish, I mean, everything is bullish. This is monthly, you see. So monthly had formed this beautiful rejection, and after all of this consolidation, the market closed with a push to the down to the downside. Yeah, bullish. Well, damn, bearish. And now we this is the current month, and this is coming back to retest. Now, from a monthly point of view, this can do all the way to the end of the month, can be below, even push up higher, and then suck itself in and then go back down. So I'm not too worried about what this one is doing right now, but I am worried what this one is doing right now for my trade, because this is bearish and it has a pullback. So I know if I'm trading now, we need to trade with the pullback, not the actual, not the trend. So I don't want to look for a counter trend trade, because I'm not trained enough to do that. But if I was, I would look at this push right now. I know this is pushing bullish. I'll go to weekly. Weekly is also pushing bullish. Daily is also pushing bullish. 4 hourly is also pushing bullish, right? But I can see 4 hourly has already, it's just got a red candle forming, which doesn't really mean much. The thing that really matters is that everything is bullish apart from monthly. What am I saying? What am I saying? So weekly is bearish. It is bearish. So I take that back. So weekly is bearish, which means monthly aligns with weekly and aligns with daily, which is absolutely beautiful, because having this line up means we seeking a sell. So I think this trade is one of those trades that's going to give us the entry signal, like a clean entry signal. And I actually love this. This is really cool. Let's look at the drawings. So right now we are hitting these areas of interest. Fucking hell. Let me just make a bit of tightness here, because I hate how many areas of interest I have. Okay, where's my price? There. Get rid of this fucker. We don't want that. Get rid of this. Do we want this here? Nah, we don't want that there. Do we want this here? Yes, it's close to the price action. All right. Wow. Okay. So we have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch. This is valid. We want to keep this. This other one is 1, 2, 3. 3 touches. Now, the reality is, guys, even though this is a valid area of interest, where the price is at now, it would be crazy for me to assume, that we're going to have a pullback into this area of interest in order to have a push and then a pullback again. So I would say that this area of interest needs to be kind of looked at, but not really, like I wouldn't allow that to get in my way. So I'll delete this, I don't want them, they just making me nervous. All right, that's much better, guys. Okay, so let's go to daily. Now daily, both of them are daily and weekly, that's clear. Okay, this area of interest placing crucial all the time. Okay, that was our notes from last time, and I absolutely agree. Now there's a trade that we taken there which didn't matter, didn't make any sense. Oh, okay. So this trade here, the reason we had the placing of the area of interest, I said that because this trade right here, because this changed bearish, we waited for this to have a push to the downside, but because of where the area of interest was placed, it looked like it was gonna go to the downside, but it didn't. Now, where I placed it, it clearly went and retested to have a pullback, and that's what it did. But this can go. It's stressing us now. We don't need it there. Let's put this back on. This off. So right now we're reaching the EMA. So this is really, really, really important. This is such an important step, because being at the EMA means that we are at the balance point. Now, nothing can stop this trade going all the way up to weekly, 4 hourly, and possibly even higher, right? But we know that the trend has already reached the certain levels to show us that this trade is going to the downside, and this is just a pullback. Now, if that is the case, what we need to be able to see at the 4 hourly, we should be able to see this change of character. So I would be expecting to see this 4 hourly. Okay, that was actually good. That was in scale. Let me just bring them closer so we can see them bigger. So this has consolidated this area of interest forever. It actually is such a big resistance. It's absolutely insane. Like all of these dojis, that's a ginormous consolidation at the 4 hourly. That's pretty much a couple of weeks in just consolidation. And then just last week, Friday or Saturday morning for New Zealand, we had this big push to the upside, and then we having a rejection of this new, or not new, but this area of interest. For me to be able to position and place a trade, I would like to see this market change the character from bullish to bearish. And because we are at kind of the middle of weekly, you can see weekly what it is, and you can also see daily. We are actually at the middle of weekly and daily. It would really make sense to see this break below here. Let me mark it. If this breaks below and then retest this, and then you'll have a push to the downside, I would be a lot more satisfied with this trade rather than trying to find the entry signal now. But in saying that, let's just have a look at 30 minutes, see what it looks like. So the 30 minutes, same thing. We are at a place where 4 hourly and 30 minutes are exactly the same, and it's not gonna do us any good. But one thing again to highlight, very important, if you have a look at this right here, to me, expecting a sell, if I wasn't to pay attention, wow, this is such an eye-opener. Fucking hell. So let's just be clear. If I was to put this trade right here, because I had this big, beautiful, interesting, like what I mean beautiful, absolutely stunning entry signal, I would take a trade with that signal any day. And this is clearly one of those trades that you do not want to take with that signal. So we need to kind of look at it and understand why. My ears is ringing, sorry. So we want to understand a little bit about why it has done that, because this is what could cost me the whole account. Now I have got some idea why this has happened, but this would have been the perfect signal to enter and take this trade. Now this trade would have not made it. This trade would have maximum made 1 to 0.3. So yeah, that would have 100% blown my account. But yeah, holy shit, very important. But anyway, what do we know? And I'll show you why I would have never taken this trade. Just go back to weekly, or let's even go back to monthly, it doesn't matter. So for me to put a sell, what did I say I need? I need for the monthly actual pullback to have the correct direction. Right now this is still going up, it's still bullish, right? So I would have straight away have a ginormous bell showing me like warning. This has not reached the end of the pullback. Now of course this is monthly, it's not going to happen tomorrow, this is going to happen at the end of the month. However, a pullback at the weekly level should have indicated me, hey, we have reached the point where our market is finally pulling back, right? And for me right now, that's not here. So I would have not been just blindly placing a trade without having weekly at least show me that, hey, we have started our continuation. And yeah, that's the only thing that would have saved me not doing that. If you're going to daily, same thing. Daily hasn't really done anything. Daily is at the area of interest with the EMA rejection. That's it. 4 hourly, same thing, all blue with a tiny rejection. So this trade would have never ever been a trade on my books to take. But if this is going to break now below here and have a rejection of this area of interest, or possibly even this area of interest, have another touchdown like this, like a double top and rejection, then I would be looking for an entry signal here. And at that time, if weekly already changed direction, as in if weekly finally is on a bearish move, daily on a bearish move, 4 hourly has changed a character, 30-minute also found the engulfing, then we're entering, and we're just chasing 0.5, and that's it. But yeah, that's it about this one at the moment. This is still standing. Weekly is bearish with blue, still the same. Daily is bearish also. Red, it's not red, it's blue. Blue. 4 hourly is bearish, is bullish, and it's red. And it's bullish. Oops. Bullish. Okay, so this is bullish. We are looking for sales, waiting for the market to show its hand first. Forced. Correct. First. Have a rejection at the daily plus weekly or exactly expecting a pullback, which is happening right now. Only enter after the pullback has reached the area of interest with the trend. So that's valid. So what I mean by that is we have a bearish move. Now the market has had a pullback, has reached the area of interest. Pullback has completed, has concluded. What that means is long wicks and then engulfing rejection at the pullback, change of character at the 30 minutes, and ideally 4-hourly rejection of the EMA to take the push to the downside. That's it. That's how simple it is for me. Finally, after all this time, I managed to at least break it down in my brain to understand what I'm actually waiting for. So that's that. Now this trade, the way it's looking now, I almost don't think is going to conclude next week. But we're just going to keep an eye and hopefully put a trade. So I'm going to keep this in the possible entries because I want it here. Next one, GBP/AUD. Now GBP/AUD has had a bit of a push. Let me just quickly get my head around it. So this is bullish. We are at the area of interest. The area of interest has only got 1, 2, 3 touches. Area of interest is a valid area of interest 61. Oh, come on. 61. I can probably shrink it a substantial amount. Yes, of course I can. Look at that. Okay, so this is very, very, very... I can have this 30 if I wanted to. 30, 30, 30. You know what I mean? 30 pips. This one can... Nah, I want to keep it because this is probably where we're going to see rejection from. Okay? Now, I know it's only 2 touches here, but it is very likely at a daily, it's a valid area of interest. So I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to go to daily and have a look. And that would be where this trade can go to. So we have an understanding of where we are. So right now, weekly is bullish. And weekly has closed with a bullish candle. So weekly is bullish blue, correct. And is at the area of interest. Now we're going to daily. Daily is bullish and it's closed with a touchdown of the area of interest and it's red. So bullish, also red. We like this because if it's red, it means it's pulling back, all right? And it's good that is at the area of interest and at the EMA at the same time. I really, really like that. It's very, very encouraging. And just remember what I said about this area of interest at daily. It truly is a good area of interest. So we just need to lift it up a little bit. So we're having minimum 3 touches, 1, 2, 3 touches, possibly 4 with that if I make it a little bit fatter. So I'm pretty happy with this. I do think if we are to see a push to the upside, it's probably going to be either at daily high or at this area of interest with a break of this weekly high. But we'll see. Remember, we don't need that much. We just need to find a good entry. Now I can see this has consolidated. This obviously broke above, come back down to retest, had multiple retests, also had an engulfing rejection and back into the EMA to test that. So our entry signal would be roughly about there. Let me just go to the 4-hourly. Let's see what's happening at the 4-hourly. 4-hourly is bearish. Let me see what we have on the notes. 4-hourly is bullish, bearish at the moment. So this is good. This is very good. Bearish. This is very good that is bearish and is red. I love that because I need this to give me a much cheaper price to buy at rather than an expensive price. Now it has come down into the EMA. We are below, into the area of interest below the EMA. This area of interest is pretty damn well respected, at least at this 4-hourly as well. Daily was pretty respected as well. I would, however, not take a trade unless we can change the character. So I would say, based on where I'm looking at this right now, you can see the 4-hourly. Oh, come on, go away. 4 hourly has broken already below this and is at the area of interest, which means when the market is going to open tomorrow, we're going to have a new market structure right here. So this is going to be our lower low and lower high, which means we need to break that in order to place a trade, which could mean is a little bit higher past the area of interest, but there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe even try and relocate the area of interest. Let's see. We are at a daily level. We have one touch there, two touch here. Okay, I think we can get rid of this touch. It's too old in the past. So we can shift this. Okay. Okay, let's see what size we have. Now, remember, this is 25 pips. Like, this is an amazing area of interest, to be honest, guys. Like, when an area of interest is 30 pips, 27 pips is ideal, but 30 pips is not far off. But for an area of interest to be valid, you need 3 touches and a maximum of 60 pips. Now, this area of interest is about 35 pips, yeah? And we're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. That's more than 3. So that's a pretty well respected area of interest. And we can see is respected, you know, for resistant a number of times. And we are now coming into the area of interest at a daily level. Now, if we're going back to the 4 hourly, and you know, it's already changed how this trade looks. We are below this. We know now from tomorrow when the market opens, we're going to have a much smaller bearish leg, and we're going to be able then to wait for the day for 4 hourly to change the character and just have a engulfing bullish push, but it must close, or we just go drop to the 30-minute and wait for the same thing to happen. Like right now, same thing with this. And actually, this is probably the much better look. You are right now, this is your bearish leg. From tomorrow, this is going to be, this is going to come down here because that would have closed, and we have obviously a new lower low and lower high. And I would be able then to wait for this to give us a, oh, come on, darling. Okay, let's make it so it looks cool. Looks cool. Okay. What is the inside? Inside blue. Okay. Oh, here. Boom. Okay. Look at that. That's fancy. Okay. This is what we want to see. So once we see this at the 30-minute, that's in gold. Or even better, we can get a doji at the bottom of that. But if I see this happening, then my trade, without a doubt, is going to be right there. Bang. That's my trade. That's it. I can probably go a little bit lower than that just to avoid these wicks here. 10 pips or something past that. So what are we here? 34, go 40. 40 pips there. Now we avoid these lower wicks just in case it does decide to have a deeper pullback, which is not excluded. But yeah, that's where I would be looking for an entry. What the heck is going on here? Oh yeah, I see. Okay. But yeah, that's am I missing something? What the heck is going on here? This is daily, because I can see a leg here. Oh no, never mind, there's a doji right there. Yeah. So we have had the push to downside, but that had a rejection at this area of interest, which made the breaking point here, and now we had a bullish push. And this has stayed bullish for a while, and right now we are in a really good place. A really good place to see a push to the upside. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a trade this week. So I'm going to save this as well. I'm going to keep it here. Yeah, it is here. And we're going to move on to the next one. Euro AUD. Euro AUD. Where are we? Weekly. This is valid. So this is... Okay. So remember what I said to you about having a bearish market structure with a pullback. Now at the weekly level, we can see this had you know, had 4 weeks of a push, a bearish push, and then it had the pullback. Now the pullback came all the way to the very top of the market, back exactly where it left from, but it closed at the area of interest, which is very, very normal, very, very natural. But imagine me when we reach this area of interest to actually put a trade as a rejection, but nobody showed me that it has finally happened, unless this candle is red. You know, at least the color red, it's like not even fully closed, you know, with a rejection, but at least I know it's at that place. And having weekly showing us red on that candle that's being formed means the lower time frame has already changed the character and is actually coming down to find the trade. And this is exactly what this is doing right now. So we're having this pullback, and now we're going down. Now let's just check this bottom here. So weekly is bearish and is red. Yes, correct. Daily is bullish. Let's see daily. Daily is truly bullish. So daily is bullish, and the current candle is just a doji. Ooh, okay. Yeah, well, it's bullish with a pullback. I'm just gonna leave that neutral. Neutral. Okay, and it is, I would say, untidy. I don't normally trade if daily and weekly does not align. Now, you can trade if 4-hourly and daily align, or if daily and weekly align, but the reality is weekly has a lot of power. You do not want to trade against weekly. So I would stay away from a trade that hasn't got daily aligned with weekly. It just doesn't really make sense. I would rather wait for that trade to finally, you know, conclude and change. But I still keep an eye on them because maybe I learned something from those trades. So right now, daily is neutral. Let's go to 4-hourly. 4-hourly is bullish. So 4-hourly is bullish. It's coming to retest this area of interest and have a push to the downside. Now I have had this trade here. I don't even know what I was trying to do anyway. I think it's just a market. I don't think I was actually trading. There's no entry signal whatsoever. I guess the only entry signal would have been round about here if I was to look at it from a sales point of view, or here. All of these engulfing with the push to the downside would have been an indication, but the reality is, because it doesn't line up, I would never take a trade. But when I look at them, I'm like, oh, okay, I think this is gonna go down, and then you look and you see. But yeah, this clearly hasn't had the push that I was probably expecting at the time past this candle here. Yeah, anyway, I'll just leave it there. I think that's what I did. I think I believed that this is gonna be the rejection and have a push to the downside. And I would say when I marked this here, that was not closed. It was forming still. And I was expecting for a much deeper push, but it clearly didn't do it. Unless that's already, nah, it's 51. That's much, nah. That would have definitely been a loss if I was to place a trade there. But from a trading point of view, remember, we are seeking sales, because weekly is bearish. Daily hasn't unfortunately given us a trend alignment, so we wouldn't be trading. And 4-hourly is bearish, so we do nothing with this one. Just kind of look at it. So I'll just remove it from possible entries. Is not a trade worth looking at. Okay, now this one. This is a trade that I lost. Excuse me. I can't say I lost because I haven't put a trade on. But look at it. It moved like a freaking nut. So weekly. Weekly is bullish. You see, weekly is bullish. And last week, what has last week done? Last week decided to have this ginormous pullback in order to go back up and close as a doji. Now, if you're looking back, I see that all of the pullbacks, this market has a tendency to form these dojis, you know, especially when it's a push to the upside, it's just what it does. See, push to the downside with a doji and then went back up. It does have the tendency to have these weird little candles at the pullback. But it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that at some point, this was red all the way down here. And that's what truly matters, because last week, that was all the way down here, rejecting the EMA. But what truly mattered was that, what is it, weekly again? Even though that was all the way down there, it hasn't really broken below the current weekly high low. So it hasn't, it wasn't actually, it wasn't breaking a previous high low in order to say, no, that's not a valid trade. So we knew this was bullish and we were looking for a buy. And then we're dropping at daily. Well, let me just actually look at this. So monthly is bearish and blue. That doesn't matter, but I guess let's have a nosy. Okay, so monthly is bearish and it's blue. So bearish and it's blue. So monthly is bearish and is in a pullback. So you see how monthly being in a pullback had affected this freaking week, I guess? Maybe not. Anyway, so we know that weekly is bullish and the current candle is red. So weekly is bullish and the current candle is red. Current is red. So we know that this is in a pullback state. Now going to daily. Daily is bearish. Daily is bearish. Currently still bearish. Okay, so daily is bearish with a blue. So daily is bearish. Bearish with blue. Okay. Now, just remember what I said about weekly and daily. If they don't align, we do not trade, because if they don't align, then we don't have a trend that aligns. Now, weekly is bullish, daily is bearish. So daily had basically, what daily has done, daily has consolidated, but daily consolidated above the area of interest and then just slowly pushed into the area of interest to reject the EMA and then have a push to the upside. But it hasn't broken above the weekly high or the daily low high in order to have a bullish market again. So it is an interesting one, because the reality is this had to become bearish in order to reach this area of interest. It just had to. There was no other way to happen. Yeah. So going to 4 hourly just to see what actually has happened. Yeah, so just coming down to 4 hourly. I can delete this box, it doesn't matter anymore. We had consolidated, and then we broke. That was bullish. Okay, bullish all the way to here. So right about this point here, we lost the bullish to a bearish. So we formed a bearish trend, and then at this level here was broken. There's only one thing I can say: very dirty, very messy. So even though this had the potential for the trade, it's just not worth it. It's like just messy and dirty. It just, I don't like. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Screw you. All right, that's it. So we move on to next one, USD CAD. Yeah, the more I look at that, it's just the one before it was just wasting our time. Trying to find a trade is not a good sign. You want to have a clear trade in order to take a trade. That's just key. So talking about key, weekly is bullish with a pullback. This pullback is rather very powerful pullback. Oof, shit. Okay, so we're looking for 4 hours bearish. Let's just mark, what's this? This is weekly. Weekly is bullish. Red, okay. It was at the area of interest, but of course it broke below. Now this is weekly, so that means this week would actually close with that there. So what that means is we need to review the areas of interest and see what is going on, because this area of interest is good, but it may be at the wrong place for this particular trade. All right, daily is bearish. Daily is bearish. Let me go back to weekly. What did I say? Okay, weekly is bullish. So because weekly is bullish, we're looking for buys. We're looking for buys. Daily is bearish. So because daily is bearish, we can no longer be seeking a buy unless daily is changing to bullish. So it will be interesting to see what we're going to see. So weekly is bullish. Yes, daily is bullish. No, daily is bearish. Daily is bearish. Daily is bearish and daily is red. Yes, red. So what that means basically means we haven't got a trade. Okay, we haven't got a trade. So let's go to 4 hourly. 4 hourly is also bearish. 4 hourly is bearish. Now what we really need to see is a change of character. So we need to reach that point where this daily and the 4 hourly have finally changed to bullish and be alongside weekly. Now we see weekly is all the way down here, so it is possible for this to have a much deeper pull all the way below this and then have a wick at this level, so we do not actually change weekly, but remember that's where weekly has closed, not the pullback but the previous active legs. Let's just go back to show you. So this point right here, that's where it closed. So it's very plausible, impossible for this to come all the way down here, even go deeper and then closing for this week with a pullback. So let's just be a little bit silly and look at it from a counter trend trade, so we can mark it and see what this can bring for us for a counter trade. Okay, so we'll leave this alone here. A counter trade means we would be looking for this to come back, pull in here, and then have a push to the downside. Okay, and so that can happen. All right, so we can then put this for a sell right there. I am not saying that I'm going to do that, but I just want to see. I want to see what what we have in store. Now if tomorrow we're having a beautiful push to the upside all the way into this to reject the EMA, it is very possible that this is going to have a push to the downside, but that means this is going to be a counter trend. So let's just mark this here: possible counter trend trade. Okay, oh, come on buddy, what the fuck? Hey, you bastard. What's the biggest? 32. There you go. Possible counter trend trade. Okay, so we'll leave this here because I want to look at it, see whether there would be an opportunity. Not that I'm going to take a trade, a counter trend trade, but it's pretty obvious that we're having all of these engulfing and at the areas of interest. You see, ever since this market has started coming down, we have rejection all the way on, but then we can see pretty much as we broke below, we came back down to retest. We came all the way down to this area of interest. We haven't broken below this, but we had engulfing. Now these are at the 4 hour. If this area of interest would have been here, right there, that would have been a valid area of interest. You have 1, 2, 3 touches, 4, 5, 6, 100 touches at the 4 hourly. So the pullback, it clearly reacts at this zone. So that would have been engulfing with the beautiful entry signal right there. Bam. And that would have given me 1-to-1. It's like easy. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. All right, so let's just keep an eye and see what the heck. Next one, AUD CAD is looking very fancy. I know they may be a little bit too many trades, but the reason I'm looking at them is because these trades is the trades that we had looked at it last week, and they have consolidated. They have formed good moves that would indicate the right push. Now this one here, for example, AUD CAD, we have a bearish weekly with a rejection at the area of interest. And the thing that happens and stands out here, we again have a doji and an engulfing. So this is indicating to me that we have now reached the point where this trade has become, this trade has not has become, but has finished the pullback, and now it's trending downwards. And I would expect for the next candle to keep going to the bottom. Now, there's one thing that needs to happen. We need to review the areas of interest. This is a weekly and a daily, which I don't believe so, but let's put these candles off because it's easier to see. So we have literally got 2 touches here. Now, there's one important distinction in between a good area of interest and a bad one, and that's the size of it. Now we can see this is at 32 pips, so that is really good size one. But the one thing that also stands out is I have another area of interest here, which has got 1, 2, 3 touches, 4 touches with the current touch. What I would say is that this area of interest and this area of interest can actually come together and just get rid of that. So we have that here. This can go. I know we have got this point that we're not touching anymore, but we know this is 30 pips. And I really like the fact that we have a valid area of interest at the weekly level. It's obviously a lot more respected. Now this one at the top here is within the line, so we're just gonna keep it. This one is at the bottom of it, so we're just gonna keep this too. But you know, 1, 2, 3 touches, so this is respected. This is very respected, and it is in a place what I want it to be in order to feel really good about it, to actually take a trade to the downside. So let me just mark this while I'm here. We're just gonna go candles back on, remove the line chart and mark it. So bearish with a red candle, bearish with a red candle. Monthly was bullish with a red candle, but that doesn't matter because you can actually see this has had a big push, which all that means is we still having more to go to this area of interest before you're going to carry on going to the upside. But one thing is for certain too, this EMA, it's really far. So it's not excluded to see a bigger push to the downside after this beautiful doji engulfing, at a weekly level. Now, all of this shit I'm saying, this is just stuff I see. So I'm not an expert. This is just my journal. So the journal is, its point is to record my learning process. So I want to be able to historically look back and say, hey, look how useless I was here. And look when I finally started understanding this Chinese looking language. I would actually say it's worse than Chinese, because Chinese, someone can explain it to you. There's millions of teachers that you can access from the web and from, schools, local schools. But with trading, there's, I would say, a substantial amount of traders online, but because it's not such a defined, it doesn't actually have a dictionary that you can literally buy and read what this is. And every single, so I think the biggest distinction is that the idea of the market versus the Chinese. So you have the market, you have the Chinese, which is well defined, like let's say the alphabet, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, right? Same for the Chinese, they will have things that are defined A to Z. And that's it. Once you learn it, you got it. But with the trading, all of the letters of the trading alphabet, they don't look the same. They form the same kind of patterns, but each pattern each time is different. It's let's say, just so you understand, today's Head and Shoulders versus 3 weeks from now Head and Shoulders, they will never look exactly the same. There might be a chance they look the same, but they're never gonna look the same. So your job is to be able to identify a beautiful Head and Shoulder and an ugly Head and Shoulder, but they still Head and Shoulders, but one is very beautiful, one is very ugly. What I mean by that is, one of them is going to have a clean, well-defined head, left head and right shoulder with the retest of the neckline, but the other one will have like a zigzaggy up and down, kind of keep pulling in and out and forming like a head and shoulder from many consolidating kind of candles. You know what I mean? But yeah, so what I'm saying here is just things that I see with the knowledge I have now, and time will tell whether I'm doing the right thing or the bad thing. But looking at weekly, we are bearish, and currently we formed a doji with engulfing. It's only engulfed a little bit, but it's still an engulfing. So I'm uncomfortable to say that, hey, we reached the turning point, we're now going down, which is good. It's a good thing to have. Now going to daily, daily is bullish. So remember, when daily goes against us, that is a counter trend trade. However, because this has already broken below daily, you see this last week's candle has closed below. That means the new low is going to be at the bottom of this candle, and the new high is going to be at the top of this candle. So that means we no longer are bullish. So we will be bearish. So daily is bearish finally. Bearish. Bearish. And is no longer blue, is red. So that's very good, because what that means is we can now finally seek a sell without having to worry about daily and weekly not aligning. And it is aligning right now. So one thing that we want to be sure of is that we're having a breaking and a retesting of this area of interest. Now, we could say that happened. We came down here and then we came back up here, and now we're going down. But the truth is that this area of interest is valid area of interest, is a weekly valid area of interest, and it is valid exactly what it is. So go away. So there's no point me imagining things, all right? Because this is such a messy kind of trade. Let's say it's almost like ranging. I want to see it break below and retest in order to go to have a move to the downside. And I know it's not going to have a ginormous move to the downside because these picks are right here. Even if I go to weekly, the deepest is going to go is this area of interest. We can see these wicks going down low, but I know I'm only chasing 0.5, as in 1 to 0.5 risk to reward. So there is a potential for a trade for me there, and I'm going to keep an eye on it. Now let's just drop to the 4 hourly and see what's happening at the 4 hourly. Are we finding an entry signal? So right now we know weekly is bullish, weekly is bearish with the red candle down. Daily is bearish with the red candle going down. 4 hourly is bearish with it's a blue candle going up. Now weekly, daily align. 4 hourly also aligns from a trend point of view, but daily 4 hourly is still pulling back. One thing I know to not do is enter without having the confirmation. So we are still at the area of interest. We have changed the trend, which is good, but I haven't got the proper engulfing entry signal. So I would say it is wise for me to wait for 4 hourly to conclude and have a move tomorrow. It's possible that what's going to happen Monday, all of the Monday, until possibly even Tuesday throughout the day here in New Zealand is Sydney time, Japan time, and then night time about 9 o'clock England's open. By the time that England's open in England time, I would expect for this 4 hourly to have a deeper pull to the EMA and close with engulfing push to the downside, and that's going to allow me to take the straight away, or have this push, like I said, from here, just break below, go back up to retest, and then have a push to the downside. And that's going to be my trade right bloody there. 0.5, are we? 0.47, 0.5, there. Okay, so we're going to keep this here. This is a beautiful trade, AUD CAD. Next one is Euro GBP, which I believe, oh no, it's not, never mind. Okay, let's see. Okay, so again, the same thing. This was a bearish market, had a pullback, and has already closed with engulfing at the area of interest. So now this is, for me as a beginner trader, I want to see this, because this kind of says to me, hey Ricky, we have reached the end of the pullback and now we're going to have a push to the downside. And it is possible that's what's going to do, but it is also possible that it's not going to do that. But this is the best signal that I can get from a market structure to tell me, hey, we're going further down, right? So just going back to daily, so just saying that again, weekly bearish with a red candle. What is my beautiful table? No table? Hey, oh, bastard. Let's be cheeky. Control C, Control V. Let me zoom in now. I don't know why I didn't have that there, but hey, we have it now. So let's go monthly. Monthly is bearish. Okay. Monthly is bearish, no pullback. So monthly is bearish. Monthly is bearish and is red. Yes. Okay, cool. Now weekly is bearish and is also red. Weekly is bearish, red. Okay. I want to put a note here. Pullback completed. Pullback completed. Excellent. All right. Daily. Now daily is bullish, which is fine. I don't mind that. It is absolutely fine. Fine. It's not fine. I don't like that. But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, so daily is bullish. Bullish and is currently blue. Blue, more like doji. Dojo. Doji. Doji. Okay, cool. That's fine. Blue doji. So that being said, this could potentially end up being a counter trend. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's fine. Let's look at this. 4 hourly. 4 hourly is also bullish, and it's forming a pull. It's forming the pullback to get us back into this area of interest. So 4 hourly is bullish and blue. Okay. So we don't really have a trade, guys. I mean, look at this beautiful signal here. And that would have had the ginormous push to the downside. Look at that. Ay, 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 ay. Another push here. You know, one thing that I've also learned, if you are looking for a sell and you have got a daily bearish, a 4 hourly bearish, engulfing signal at the area of interest, 9 out of 10 is going to work. 9 out of 10. Like just this one here, this was bullish, yeah, so nothing happened, bullish. But from here, this one here has changed. Oh, is it? So that was the top of it. Yeah, so this was the bullish leg. So this is the first one that closed, that indicated the market has changed from bullish to bearish. And if I was to put a trade at the bottom of that engulfing, I would have hit my take profit in no time. As in, it would have just happened in the first couple of days. That is also an important distinction, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So it's not much to do with this trade. Unfortunately, we wasting time looking at it. I'm not gonna leave it on my list for now. Daily and 4 hourly is not what it is. I'm expecting this to have a much deeper pullback at a daily level. And I don't know how the heck you're gonna change this, because that's bullish from there. The only way to change daily to bullish is this to come down here below, close with a bearish market, and then have a deeper push into the area of interest, and then to change the character again. But too messy. Now remember what I told you about the pullback just before? Even here, look at this thing here. That's absolutely beautiful engulfing, a double top that indicates a push to the bottom. If you would have entered there, this trade would have given you one to bloody, I mean, you would have already had those wicks there to go off. So that's 20. We would have gone to 35 pip. Wait, this is 20, 30. Yeah, I would say 30 pips, 30 pips, because 35 would have been too much. But even just like that, even if you would have taken once that closed, that candle closed, even if you would have entered there, you would have still made 0. Just last week, 1 to 0.87. So yeah. Anyway, look, we're not gonna do anything with this one. We're looking for sales. Correct. We're looking for sales. Yeah, that's still standing. We're waiting for this market to align. Okay, so we're just gonna remove this one. Stop talking about it. Riki. I'm wondering, is everyone? This is not even on. Oh, shit. Anyway, this is on the main list. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna leave this in the watch list. Sorry, guys. I don't want to lose it. It's something that I'm interested about to learn from, not necessarily to put a trade. Okay. So this is Euro GBP, Euro NZD. Euro NZD, what we have here. Okay, Euro NZD, we have a bearish weekly with a rejection. So weekly is in a pullback state. That's the other thing that's pretty important to mention. You can see this one at a weekly level has had reached the bottom, and now it's pullback, it's push down again, pull back again, down again, again, down again. It's like, what the fuck, you know? But the things is, these have very big long wicks. Now, if you're going down to the daily, you will see them. Okay, so they, I guess, opportunities, or maybe not. So that was there. We knew at this time here, this had a pull, because it wasn't at the area of interest, it was just reacting at that level. Oh, fuck. I guess the only thing that we would have had here was this rejection with the full engulfing, but guys, it's against the trend. So what the heck is going on? Look, weekly is bearish, daily is bearish, 4 hourly is bearish. So the only thing we're looking for here is sell. So we ain't gonna do anything until, let's see if we can find an area of interest that is different than that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. This is a very, very valid area of interest. So right now, call this consolidation all day. We're waiting for this price to get down below, retest, and then have a push. That's it. I'm gonna move this to the bottom probably, and we move on to the next one. There's no point wasting time with that. There might be some potential there. I don't know. Now this one is bullish, bearish. I'm sorry, bearish now. With the pullback, the pullback hasn't concluded yet. As you can see, we were kind of looking for a continuation, but they didn't do it. Why should it do it? You know, it just pulls back. It normally does that to kind of bring the market into a much better price, but it is what it is. We're not going to do anything until this has finally given us an indication that it has reached the correct area of interest. And let's do it. So weekly is bearish, yes, with blue. Oh, go away. Blue. Okay. I guess we hear him as well. Okay. Now this is the thing that truly bits me. Because monthly is doing exactly what monthly is meant to do, okay? So monthly is bullish. Monthly had the ginormous push, a small pullback, push again, pull back, and push again. Why should I believe that this is not going to have a continuation at a monthly? Monthly is a big time frame, has, you know, everything it's needing to do that. It should just push. It's normal. So looking at this, it already puts me in guard, saying, Ricky, that could pull back heaps, especially when this closed with engulfing. I mean, I shouldn't say that. This is monthly. This still has another 20 days to go, 15, 16 days. Okay, so I take that back. That means nothing. As far as I'm concerned, this can keep pushing down to the bottom, right? Okay, so let's not get distracted by monthly then. And just focus on what matters. We know we're looking for sales. We need to find the right area of interest, and we're not going to know about the right area of interest until we see rejection at the area of interest. So right now, daily is also bearish with the blue candle. What is my writing there? So daily, weekly, monthly. Okay, weekly is bearish, yes. With blue, yes. Daily is bearish, yes. Also, no, also red. Blue, also blue is bearish, bearish, bullish. Yes, exactly. Cool. And 4 hourly. 4 hourly is bullish. Excellentos. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's go back to daily. So 4 hourly. 4H bull with blue. Okay, we're looking for sales. Of course, we're looking for sales. Wait for the 4 hourly to change character and blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So we just need for the market to show us it's reached the end of its pullback, and then look for a change of character at a lower time frame and make it happen. So we wait for this to do that, break below and retest, and then go to the bottom. Now I have seen it many times that this does happen, and it's probably the safest thing to do. But I've also seen it once we reach this area of interest, and as soon as the 30-minute has changed the character, literally enter straight away. And that means by the time this has broken below to have another retest of that area of interest, you made your trade. I made my trade. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll leave this here, but it's, yeah, not doing much. GBP JPY. GBP JPY at weekly level. Whoa. Okay. So this trade, I want to see monthly. Monthly is absolutely beautiful. It doesn't really matter anything. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just doing what it's meant to do. Now, weekly is bearish. Weekly is bearish. We are already in a pullback. I'm just waiting for the pullback to show us the move. So monthly bullish doesn't matter. Weekly is bearish blue, yes. Daily is also bearish and is also blue, yes. Blue, bro. Blue. So sorry, guys. 1 hour and a half, for fuck's sake. Hey, it's a journal. What can I say? It does need to take time. I'm so sorry. 4 hourly is bullish. 4 hours is bullish. So basically what we need to see is a change of character at the 4 hourly. So it's bullish. Bullish and is red. It's a good sign, you know. 4 hourly change the character already. That's sweet. Okay, so what we waiting for? Waiting for the market to show its hand first. Of course, have a reaction at the daily plus weekly area of interest in order to decide the entry signal at the 30-minute time frame. Only enter after pullback has reached the area of interest with the trend. Exactly. So what I mean by that is we reach the area of interest and then we're rejecting that area of interest in the direction of the trend. So the trend was bearish, we pull back, we now see rejection, we see the lower time frame change the character and then push back. Our trade is right there. All right, cool. So that's that. What we're saying is wait for this to get down below here and do that, which is exactly the same like Euro NZD. And the GBP CAD is, what is this doing? Bullish with the pullback. Okay. Now, I just want to highlight one thing. This was bullish with a pullback, and then he rejected this area of interest. So let's just have a look at this blue push to the upside. See our entry signal, because this will be interesting. Now, let me see it. Okay, so our pullback is the second one that went all the way down into the EMA. All right, so this one, not that, this one. Okay. So pretty kind of easy to see that we had the engulfing signal right here after we created this double top, which is double bottom in this case, and the engulfing signal for the trade right there. Bam. And look at this beautiful trade. Wow. 1 to 3. That would have been very nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, that wasn't the trade to be. What is my list? No list. Ricky. You bad. Oh, I have a list. What the heck? Why so far? Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is bullish and is red. Weekly is bullish and is red, yes. Daily is Daily is bullish and is red. Yes, daily bullish. Bullish and is red. Yes. 4 hourly is bullish. No, it's bearish and is red. Which doesn't matter. So bearish. I said bearish. Yeah, bearish and is red. Okay, so we're looking for buys based on this. So bullish, bullish, bullish. Okay, so we are looking for buys. Okay, we need to look. We basically need to wait for the market to show us that it's going to go to the upside again. And it reached the place where I really, really like it. I'm enjoying this place, but now I need the lower time frame to change the character in order to find that entry signal. So we're waiting for this market to give us not another one of these, because there's no point for another one of that, but just a change of character here. Boom. And then a push to the upside. And that's our trade. Cool. And we already looked at this. And that concludes our trading, guys. The one thing I would probably like to do, just for the sake of it, I'm just going to put the Athena on the screen. I just want to look through the trades and see what Athena says about these trades in order to see whether we're safe or not. Let's see, Athena. Where are you, darling? Okay. Let me see. Oh, what is that? Hold on. Just a second, my friend. Okay, market opening soon. Review Sunday. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Okay, 70%. I'm gonna put it on the big screen. Sorry, guys, because it doesn't fit there on my surface. It's shit. Shit on my surface. Not good. Even here, not so good. Okay, but you get to see it, I think. Okay, cool bananas. All right, well, hopefully it's good enough. So the first one I want to look at is Euro JPY. Can you see it? You can see it. Okay, Euro JPY. So Euro USD, Euro JPY. What are we? Euro JPY. So what Athena is saying that there's a 70% chance that we're going to see a sell. So that doesn't fill me up with a lot of confidence, but there's also a couple of buttons here that I'm not going to touch. I probably would like a little bit more training from Alex on this, but I know we have got a rejecting doji and we are at the EMA. This is a bearish push, which is beautiful. Yeah, so he's pretty happy with this at a daily. Weekly also aligned with us. Weekly saying that we're also having a push to the downside. So pretty happy with this one. GBP AUD. GBP AUD. GBP AUD. Ooh, Athena saying this is at 55%. It's pretty shit. Weekly 55%, daily 55%. Both of them are indicating a sell in Athena's case. Okay, let's put a note here because it's not interesting. Okay, Athena is indicating a sell. Okay. Okay, we have a note. At least we can look at that. So Athena is indicating a sell, and what we're saying that we have a bullish market and we're going to buy. You see, there's one thing that Athena does and I do not do. Athena is picking up these not even dojis, these blue candles, and is turning them into a bearish trend. But when Alex is teaching me, he's saying if the market had a pull or a push, that means that leg has ended at that bottom, and then he went back up, and then he went back down, and then he went back up and then down. So every time we have these hiccups, even though they're so tiny, they still meant a change in the market. So the way my indicator is seeing it and the learnings is that we've broken the market at this point here. Can you still, you can't see it. Let me move Athena. Oh no, I can move this probably. Okay, I can move this here. So you can see this here. This had the big push to the upside. That was, let's say, from this point here, bearish, had a small push and then change again, low, 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 high, change again, low, high, low, low. And then it broke below at this point here. When this broke this point and closed here, that was the new low high, not that one. That one, low, high, and low, low. And then low, 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 high, and then broke again here. And that became the new push, and then we pushed back up. So I'm seeing it bullish and he's seeing it not. So let me see if I can change this. No, this is not. trend. I can't change those settings. So anyway, Athena is indicating a sell. We'll learn and see. USD CAD. Oh, come on, buddy. Why did it do that? Why you do that, you silly? Okay, so what was this? USD CAD. USD. USD, where are you? USD. USD CAD here. USD CAD, it's at 60% buy. Now again, I'm indicating this is daily. So daily is saying, how the fuck do you see a buy there? Ugh. And weekly a buy. Both of them, they're expecting a buy. So again, same thing. I can see this doji here. It's not really doji, it's just the pullback. Now this pullback, Athena is looking at it saying, that was nothing. It's just a blip. And they see this whole leg as the thing. And maybe that's what it is, but I do want to mark it because maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. All of those little pullbacks, maybe they do not matter. Okay, let's say here, Athena is indicating a buy. Yeah, buy. Okay, well, let's wait and see. Okay, how the fuck do you get a buy? I don't understand. Anyway, whatever. Next. That's only at 60% as well for a buy. It's much more for a sell, I would say. AUD CAD, AUD CAD, AUD CAD, AUD. Where are you? AUD JPY, AUD CAD. AUD CAD is at 75% sell. Okay, so that lines up with me. I'm happy. AUD JPY, AUD JPY. 80% for a sell. Absolutely beautiful. We line up, so thumbs up. Athena's with me on this one. 80%. GBP JPY we are selling. GBP JPY, GBP JPY 65% sell. He is not happy. I'm not happy either because we are above the area of interest and it's closed. Bullish. Yeah. Okay, cool. But hey, 65% is low. We just keep an eye and see. GBP CAD, GBP CAD, CHF, GBP CAD, 90% sell. Wow. Okay. We are also indicating an absolutely beautiful buy. And Athena is also seeing a beautiful buy at 90%. 90%. Hey, that's not often to get that. So that's actually a very good indicator. So I'm going to move this at the very top of the list because it's nice to have. Okay, Euro NZD, we're looking for a buy or a sell. What did we say? What are we? No writing again? Oh, come on, buddy. What have I done here? Have we not done this one? Well. I haven't. I guess we are bearish weekly, bearish daily, bearish. Okay, cool. So we basically looking, okay, cool. We need to break below that area of interest and go down. Okay, that's fine. Fine. So we're looking for sales, not buys. Okay, we can go away. We're looking for a sell below here. Okay, cool. So let's see, NZD, Euro NZD. Euro NZD, Euro NZD USD, Euro GBP, Euro NZD, Euro NZD. Wow, no freaking way. 95% sale. Oh my god, that's good. That's good. Okay. Well, you saw it. Literally, it took me 5 seconds to actually look at it and say, yeah, that's gonna go to the bottom. If you remember, down to the 4 hourly, if everything is, all of the trends are red, and you are at the area of interest, like what the fuck? We know we are there. We just need to reach the area of interest, break below, and have a push. So I'm going to move that to the top because it's 95% sales. So wow. Okay, well, guys, that's it for tonight. We did it. That's where we stand. So I'm pretty happy with pretty happy with what we have managed to achieve. Let me hide this Athena because you don't need to look at it anymore. So just a little bit about Athena so you understand what's happening. Alex has, if you remember when he ran on the field, he was launching Athena, and we did purchase it. Now, do I trust it? Yes. Do I use it a lot? I guess so. I just don't use it to its fullest. Now, when Alex launched it, there was a course. He obviously took us through. He showed us how to use it, but the reality is not having access to the team that built the Athena and kind of working with them, it makes it really, really tough and hard. So I do find that I rely a lot on myself and my own knowledge of Alex's understanding, really not having a team. He's not there. I mean, I'm looking at all his videos. That's all I can do. But yeah, the good news is that I have got access to it, and I see that even after 6 months, we still have the license. He was supposed to review it after 6 months, and we were to be making at least $1,500 in order to keep it. We made exactly zero, but we also haven't kept track of it on the app, so I'm not sure how long it's going to be working for. But yeah, I use it, and yes, it has got Alex's brains in it. He's obviously developed it. So even looking at these trades, it kind of makes sense to him and makes sense to me. Some of them don't, so I marked them. We're going to see what the market does, and we're going to see what Athena does. But yeah, for now, thank you so much for watching. If you find this useful in any way, if there's anything you can add to help me become a better trader, I just want to highlight two things. The purpose of this video and this whole series, the purpose is to prove two things. I would say three things. One of them is, can trading change my life? Two is, can I change my life in order to become a successful trader? Very, very important. You can't have one without the other. You can't become a successful trader if you not change your life to become a successful trader. It's like you have too many commitments in your life that take you away from trading, which means you can never become a good trader if you do not adjust yourself and your life to allow you to be a good trader. Yeah, and the third question is, can I rely solely on trading for an income? Which is obviously tied in directly with the first one, can trading change my life? But yeah, that's the three things that I'm waiting for the market to answer. Now, I have a very, very small account. It's only, I think, $450. I've made money, I lost money, but it's at 450 right now. My challenge is to grow this small account as fast as we can, as safely as we can, to about 100 grand, and then kind of try and scale from there. I do not know what it's gonna take. This is the end of the first week that I was meant to start trading. Now I have taken a trade, was on the demo account. It doesn't really matter. It went the way we said. We had the confluences lined up, and we managed to put a trade through, and it went to our take profit, which was absolutely amazing. Now this week we're gonna do another trade. Really, really, really pushing myself to do it with the real money, real account, and start scaling it from that 415 up. I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Again, just let me know in the comments if there's anything I need to adjust, if it's something I'm not seeing. The ultimate goal would be to create a team that thinks like me, that kind of do things like how I do it, so we can really gel together. And when I do this market analysis, I can have everybody on the camera here. We all talk, we all share information, we all find the entry points, the exit points, and on and on. But I know it's going to take time. I'm still getting shit views, depending on when you're watching this. Right now, the date is 16th of the 8th. So 16th of August, 2026. I don't know when you're watching this video. If you're watching it recently, that's good. But if you're watching it in the future, there may be a whole lot of other videos ahead of this with a successful Ricky, but I have no idea yet. I'm living in the present. Now, the past, I know I've learned a lot of things, so I know what I'm doing now is important for changing myself, right? But anyway, it's been a long video. Thank you, my journal, for having me, and thank you guys for watching. If you see any interest in this, just share with your friends, and probably drop a follow. And yeah, stay in touch. Take care.